Hey, it's Fit Gear Hunter here with the final and full review for the TicWatch Pro 3 here in my home gym, CrossFit Homeward in the outdoor space. We have an indoor space as well if you're ever in the area, drop in. But the TicWatch Pro 3 has been a much talked about AMOLED screen with a Google Wear OS backdrop. So what we're going to do in the review today is we're just going to talk in general about the specs. We're going to look at a hands-on of the watch, a hands-on of the app, and then come back together for a summary. I'm going to give you a little bit of details now. So as always, if you like the video, everything on this channel, Fit Gear Hunter, as well as the website, fitgearhunter.com, is dedicated to tracking devices for CrossFit and high-intensity interval training. So versus all the running and biking, reviews that are out on the market. So when I look at this for CrossFit training, there's a few things. Just looking at the specs out of the box, it's 47 millimeters wide, it's 13.6 millimeters thick, so that's relatively a good ratio. It's 61 grams, so it's actually a lot lighter or somewhat lighter than a lot of the watches on the market. It is running an AMOLED screen, a 1.39 inch screen, so it's got a big, beautiful screen. And one of the things I really like about it is it's got a bezel so that you can protect it if you're going to bang it up against a barbell or up against a rack. So looking at the things that are the feature points of it, so it's got the Snapdragon 4100 processor, which is more efficient, it's faster, as well as more battery efficient. And so one of the things I want to get out of the way right in the beginning is how long is the battery life. One of the things that's unique about this is it has an LCD screen, so that if you actually wanted to, you could just have an old Casio looking, LCD screen. So see if I can get it to activate. You can't quite see it. There you can. So that's the LCD screen, and that helps conserve battery life. But what I have found is that I don't really like the LCD screen. So what is the battery life without the functional use of the LCD screen, just the AMOLED with an always-on, more dim, set to like middle-of-the-road settings? Well, with the LCD screen, I'm getting about 2.5 to 2.7 days of battery life, but with the AMOLED, just regular, always-on, more dim setting, but not having the wrist raise activated, just the touch or the button to be able to activate the screen, I'm getting about 2.25 days. So you actually don't save that much with the LCD screen. So 2.25 days with an hour workout, that's not any GPS, but an hour workout every day versus 2.75 days with the LCD screen used, as well as, only pushing the button or pushing the face to be able to get the AMOLED to activate. So you're not actually losing a lot of battery life. It is great that an AMOLED screen with an always-on display is lasting for 2.25 days to 2.75 days, depending on how you set it up. The recharge time on it is a little bit slow, so it is about 2 hours for a recharge, about 1.9 hours, about the average of what I've gotten in all my testing of the recharge. It does recharge faster in the beginning, and then for some reason the last 10% or 5% is a lot slower. So you still can get a bulk of recharge in a faster pace, but if you want to go from 0 to 100, it's about 2 hours or 1.9 hours. So looking at it, as we saw in the optical heart rate, you can see the full review of the optical heart rate analysis in the description below, but it only came in at 56% accurate. But if you watch the video, you can see that it tracked the flow of the workout, and I'll give you a quick snapshot of the hands-on section of this. So let's get into the hands-on of the watch itself, what the features are, what the benefits are, and come back together for a summary.
And there it is, folks, the glorious LCD screen. Again, it's got the 2-layer screen. You push the button and the AMOLED becomes active. So 47 millimeters, it is 13.6 millimeters thick, which is actually pretty thin. There's the speaker as well. It's got a microphone on the other side. 22 millimeter quick release. I'm sorry that I don't have the actual original band. This is the rubber with the stitching on it. It's a little bit stiff, so in my testing I've been wanting to use a softer band. I could strap it down tighter just to make use of the optical heart rate sensor. It does have a pulse ox on here, magnetic on the side, magnetic charger on the side, and then 2 buttons. So 22 millimeter quick release. It does feel like aluminum because it's only 61 grams, which is a considerably light watch. The AMOLED screen is 1.39 inches wide. I do like that there's a lip here so that you get a little protection if you're going to bump it up against a rack or a barbell. This is the overall Wear OS system. So you swipe down from the top and you have your basic set of settings and details there. You swipe from the bottom and you can see your quick, that's it for notifications. So you get your notifications. They come in really pretty. I really like the whole Wear OS layout and how they do the design. Swipe to the right and you get your Google Assistant. Of course, I just hit the wrong button. Oh, look at that. Take out the laundry. It's got my reminder built in there. So one event today, snapshot of just some basic things, reminders, workout, started, and then a quote for the day. So this is like the standard Wear OS stuff. And then you swipe to the right and you get your widgets. Now you can change these widgets however you want, but I just sort of have it set up. This is the Tic Health, and you click into it and it'll give you sort of a breakdown of all the details. One of the things I'll just tell you right off the bat that I do like about it is that you get a lot of detail built into the watch. So here you have the calories. It's just, it says high intensity exercise, 0 out of 30 minutes. So we'll see in a second. I actually did do a workout this morning and it definitely had some high intensity to it. We'll take a look at that. Min max, oxygen saturation. So you can click into any of these and it'll go straight to the particular facet that you wanted to see. There's the pulse ox, and we'll look at pulse ox detail in a second. There's my activity over the course of a period of days. Here's my sleep, and you can see all the sleep details if you want to click into that and your exercise goal achieved, although it didn't give me any credit for high intensity because of the things that we'll talk about in a second. So this is your training log. I do like it that it could give you detailed information. So let's stop here for a second. So this is actually what you see at the end of a workout. We'll look in a second at what you see during a workout, but it is about as plain Jane as this. So if you do the Tic exercise, pick one of their activities, here's what you'll get in summary form. So it is very non-glorious. It's just super simple, nothing great to it, no details there, but you do get a log. If it had more stats, it would be great because the access to the log is relatively easy. Again, we'll look at it in a second. So this is the number of activities you can choose from. So it's like 14 different activities. It's all pretty basic stuff. And, I don't really have a great need because when you do CrossFit or high intensity interval training, you just need something that's going to track your heart rate and give you the intensity details. This is the weather widget. It did look like it got updated because it's got this different font style to it. It does seem to be a little bit prettier or more unique design. I really like this. You can get like straight into articles with little pictures to them. And then if you want to read the article, it jumps you straight to your phone. It's one of the things I like about Wear OS. But these are all basic things to the Wear OS platform. So then you click the top right and you're going to get to the platform of things that you can access. So again, the amount of detail that you can see on the watch is pretty extensive. So let's look at some of the wellness aspects. So this is the sleep, and you can dive right into it, and it'll give you your sleep stages, the percentage, the amount of time you spent in each stage. It gives you all 4 stages, sleep duration, time to fall asleep. It gives you a lot of some stats about sleep heart rate. And then I really love this. So it's one of the few watches that gets pulse ox at least somewhat useful. So it ties pulse ox into sleep. Garmin's been doing that forever. But a lot of other manufacturers that have pulse ox available in their watches don't actually tie it into sleep, which is a normal time to be able to track it because you're sitting still. It will track it once an hour and only once an hour, but a lot of times if you're moving throughout the day, you're not going to get a reading like I haven't gotten since I've woken up. But at least I see my blood oxygen during sleep, morning pulse frequency. It just gives you a lot of details when it comes to sleep. So again, useful information. Then you have Tic Zen, which is your stress tracking throughout the day. It's not always tracking it accurately. So like, look, it tracked it very well over the course when I'm sitting still. It hasn't tracked it since because I guess I'm not still enough. It'll look for it once every 30 minutes. So it's a neat idea. The problem is it doesn't execute correctly because it won't get a reading if you're moving around, and it will only check it for once every 30 minutes. So a good idea. I do like this sort of, you can do a hearing test, see how loud it is in the room. Oxygen is your pulse ox. You can take an immediate reading, weather, and then you have the old traditional Fit, the Google Fit family of functions, and then Amazfit. So let's talk about working out. So we saw what it looks like to work out, and then if you were just to pick an exercise and you wanted to do, I tend to do freestyle. You start the workout, it just is this. This is what it is. There it is. That's what you get. That's all you get. It's just the basic stats there. So not a lot of detail. You click over here, you have to hold it down long enough for it to end. And there it is. That's all the stats you get. And then you go after the workout, and then all you can see is that summary, of how much time you spent. But the reality is that the the reality is the log, you can't see a great deal of log information. So you can obviously see it in the widget here. So you can see your logbook for the week. You can click on it and it'll show you the progress time. And at the bottom, actually at the top, you can see your progress. It shows you the days you've worked out. So not a lot of details there. And so if you want to connect to a chest strap, you actually have to use the Runtastic app. At least that's the most commonly used. It will always look for, even if you're doing a CrossFit workout, I like that it has its own little CrossFit label. You can see heart rate monitor, you can click on that, and it's going to start looking for the Polar H10. It found it really easily. There was no problem there, but you have to choose which device. You can't turn the GPS off. So when you track a workout with the Runtastic, it'll give you heart rate zones. You can adjust those heart rate zones. That's great. You can see a heart rate graph. Unfortunately, Runtastic doesn't give you a training log, or it doesn't give you like a volume load tracking. So again, you're not going to get the full data accumulation or assessment of your workouts, and it always looks for GPS. So this is just to give you a side. Whenever I go to work out and I use the Runtastic, I will tend to go here and then go to connectivity and turn off location. So then if I'm doing a CrossFit workout within Runtastic, it's not going to look for GPS, because if you do a CrossFit workout within Runtastic and you have location on, it's going to track GPS. And this watch doesn't do great with GPS tracking. It'll burn like 15% an hour. And so I'll do an hour-long workout. I just all did it inside the box, and I didn't go anywhere, and it's looking for my GPS or tracking my GPS the whole time. So I'll turn it off there. But either way, that's the Runtastic app. That's, makes it easy to connect to a chest strap, and the stats you get in there are about as simple. I'm not going to start a workout and save it. They're about as simple, and you don't have a training log. You can't see a history of things within the Runtastic app. So, that's the summary. When it comes to, variations of how the display looks, you can obviously turn off the always on and then cover it, and that's how it looks. If you have a wrist raise gesture setting set, it'll turn on that little Casio blue light backdrop. But if you have wrist to wake turned on, it'll actually go straight to AMOLED from this watch here. So I just have it to where you touch the face, but that is the LCD. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it, only because I just think, well, I don't really love it. I don't want to use a Casio watch. So back to always on. Yes, it'll, the watch faces, are pretty extensive. You can get a pretty good set of watch faces. It'll give you a good dim version. I really like this one. And so you can see the full version, and then, no, that didn't do it, but it'll go click off and you'll see a dimmer version. Everything's been working fine. Again, about 2.25 days of battery life with this version, or if you use the LCD, then you'll get 2.75. There it is. So again, very, very sharp looking watch, very good overall design and build quality. I think it is pretty well spot on. So let's look at the apps and then come back together for a summary. All right, this is the main landing page for the Wear OS platform. This is where you're going to do basic settings like watch faces. You can see there's a collection of watch faces, just ones that I downloaded, ones that were already pre-installed, or ones that I downloaded from the Wear OS store. I'm not getting a huge list of Wear OS options, but that's where it is. Here's where you set your widgets. I feel like if you hit the plus button, it's not going to allow me to add anything because you're limited to 5, but there is, so if you take one of those out, you can see the collection of widgets you could download or could put in there, heart rate or heart points or workout. Now that's the Google Fit workout. Tick Pulse, so that does do the Tick Health version of heart rate tracking, notification reminders. That's where you set your widgets. I do like that it has widgets. I don't know why this is limited to only 5. Google Assistant settings in there. So this is where you set up the watch, and then you go to the Mobboy app. You see in the top left, it says connected. This is where I'm having problems. It just will not connect all the time. I'll have to turn off Bluetooth and turn it back on, and turn off the Wear OS app and turn it, and just to try to get it to say green connected and have the battery listed there. And it's funny because even if I go in and do a workout, a lot of times I'll get some of these stats that'll load and be connected, and then I'll have to close it all down and reopen it, close it all down and turn off Bluetooth and turn it back on, and finally the exercise from this morning would reappear. So this is the basic stats you get. You can get steps, hours of movement, percent minutes, 66 minutes of exercise, heart rate,
throughout the time. You get a lot of details there, or just get some details, I guess you'd say. You see all these same things in the watch. That's one of the great thing about it, is that the watch will show all these details. There's the average for the pulse ox stress levels. Again, it's not really tracking. If you looked at on the watch portion, it's just basically got dots in the night, but not during the day, because it's not keeping up with it. Here's the sleep. So you do see the efficiency portion. The sleep blood oxygen is 97, so that's great. You can see the heart rate throughout time, so it gives you great details there, but it's all based on efficiency. So efficiency doesn't tell you actually the quality or length of time. It just tells you how much of the night you were asleep. Here's the exercise, and let's look at today's workout, because there's a lot to see. So here's how the workout looks if you completed it on the TicExercise app. There's the heart rate. 113 beats per minute. So if you look at that workout, look at that graph, you can see a little clearly it got up to 113 beats per minute. And here's the workout off of a chest strap. So it was a heavy back squat day, followed by a 4-round Metcon at the end. And you can see the peak when I got to the 5-rep max training effect, and the amount of time in different zones. So in the basic Mobvoi app, you don't get that. And in this particular workout, unfortunately, it didn't follow as closely. You can see in the end there, it is picking up the hills. So you can see the 4 rounds, or somewhat, looks like 3 rounds, and then it tapered off for the last one. But it's at 113 beats per minute, whereas in the real work, it was at 160 to 170 beats per minute. So it's falling short. The heart rate accuracy of the optical heart rate sensor is 56% accurate based on my testing over a number of workouts. And you can see that specific full review in the description below. So that's how it looks in the Mobvoi app. If you look at a workout, you can obviously see, that's what you get. You can see your training log somewhat this way, amount of times you've worked out, but you don't have like an accumulation of minutes. You don't, in this high intensity exercise. So if it had tracked my heart rate accurately, then it would start to build high intensity exercise minute accumulation. So at least you would have some sort of log for how you've done, but it doesn't work on the optical heart rate sensor. So you're not getting the right accumulation. So you can't track your overall fitness. So this is the Runtastic app. You have your basic activities where it comes up in the middle. So here you can see what it looks like. What it looks like to look at a workout. So this is with the time turned off. So this is a workout from the other day where I did use a chest strap, and it correctly assesses the amount of time in each zone. The tragic thing about the Runtastic app is that if you go to the main page, you see the run stats in the middle, but it's only looking for running. It's not giving you an accumulation of time or a load over time or detail like that. And if you don't turn off the tracking, if you don't turn off the GPS, meaning going into the setting on the watch and turn off connectivity that is using your location, it'll always look for GPS. You can't turn off the GPS on the app itself. So I always turn it off so that it doesn't burn the battery life of the watch, because when the watch is looking for GPS, it's going to burn some battery. So that's what it looks like for a workout in the Runtastic. But that's the summary of how the apps work and the summary of what health data fields you get within the Mobvoi app, as well as the settings fields you get within the Wear OS. Let's come back together for a final.
Okay, so looking at the watch in summary, what did I like and what did I not like? On the pro side, or the like side, I like the design of it. I think the overall, the weight is great. I mean, obviously it's 61 grams, 47 millimeters, 1.39 inch AMOLED screen, only 13.6 millimeters thick, but just all around, I feel like it's just got a great balance to it. It feels solid, it doesn't feel trinket, but it also is not heavy. I do like the Wear OS system. So I use an iPhone, so obviously the Samsung line of products doesn't sync as much. Some of the other sort of off-brand like Amazfit and Huawei, they have more of a simplified platform. So I like that Wear OS has the expansiveness to it. I do like the Tic suite of apps. You have a bunch of different apps, and one of those things and the features in there is you can see a lot of stats on the watch itself. Not many manufacturers are putting a lot of the sleep details as well as the pulse ox details and stress details in more comprehensive detail in the watch itself. So TicWatch has done a great job, and Mobvoi has done a great job at expanding how many details you see on the watch itself. I do like the sleep details. I do like the fact that it ties in pulse ox, so you can just have it track at least once an hour. And a lot of times that doesn't work during the day because pulse ox you have to be still. But I think it's fantastic for tracking an in-depth, more detail to the sleep so that you can see what your oxygen level was throughout the night of sleep. I think the stress is pretty good, that it's tracking stress every 30 minutes at the most, but it obviously doesn't get the readings all the time, and the chart always doesn't look great. And then obviously I like the battery life. For an AMOLED to have it always on, to be able to cover across 2 days, is fantastic, because a lot of times if you have a 36-day battery life, you're really paranoid about it going in the second day. If you forget to recharge, you have a problem throughout the day, but this is doing great. One of the side things, or let's go to the cons altogether. So the connectivity, I'm having a tough time actually getting it to always connect with my phone. For whatever reason, it's like, I don't know if it's necessarily Wear OS. I can't say that I've noticed it as much on other Wear OS devices I've tested, but connecting it to the Mobvoi app, it just has been problematic. It will not connect. I'll turn off the Bluetooth, turn it on, and that's been a continuous problem. And so sometimes that means that I won't get notifications. Side note, on the Pro side, I love the notifications because Wear OS does a great layout. What's another con? The optical heart rate accuracy at 56%, even though it's sort of tracking the flow of the workout, is not enough for really in-depth training. And that goes to the training aspects that I don't like. The stats on the watch with the Tic, the Tic Exercise app are super minimal. The detail after the workout on the watch, super minimal. The detail in the app after the workout, super minimal. So they don't have much of a training log. You don't have ability to just track your training more in depth, and that's a problem. The other thing, you can obviously tie in Runtastic. You can try in Adidas' application, Runtastic, but it doesn't give you a training log there either. It will track to a heart rate monitor so you can get accurate zones, but that doesn't flow to a training log on the TicWatch or the Tic Health application. So you can track accurate heart rate, but it doesn't flow through to some of the other basic watch apps, so it's somewhat disjointed and not fantastic. The sleep, I do love the detail to the sleep, but it just gives an efficiency rating, and you get 4 hours of sleep or 8 hours of sleep. It's just telling you how efficient or how much time you were asleep. It's not giving you a sleep score, which gives you a gauge for your overall recovery and wellness, and that's a problem. The LCD screen, I think it's neat that they have this 2-layer screen, but I didn't like the LCD screen. I didn't want to wear a Casio watch. I want the AMOLED screen. I don't really care if it's not a significant battery saver, and that's the great thing. The other thing I didn't like was the recharge time. So the recharge time wasn't fantastic either. But without, when looking at it all together, I think it is an excellent AMOLED watch, and it's an excellent Wear OS AMOLED watch. So it does accomplish that well. As for CrossFit and high-intensity interval training, I wouldn't recommend it as a real solution for CrossFit and high-intensity interval training, because it is really lacking on the exercise detail, stats you can see in the workout, after the workout, and training program all around. So I can't recommend it for true CrossFit and high-intensity interval training development, but I would say it's a great watch all around, one of the best for AMOLED, and it's been a great experience using it. So stay tuned. What's coming up next and down the road is a full in-depth AMOLED watch competition, sort of head-to-head of 6 primary AMOLED watches that are on the market today, with a point structure and a bunch of different areas tracked and tested to give you the full my suggestion for the best AMOLED watches that are out there for the price and the cost all around. So again, thanks for watching. This is the Fit Gear Hunter. Thank you.